I'm a female artist. I write, do plays, a lot of things of that for the community right now. Basically, trying to get something solid and cultural that they could have more so. A lot of things of that for the community right now. Basically, trying to get something solid and cultural that they could have more so. A lot of things of that. So is it like doing the feedback type of thing when you're talking? Because you're talking in it, it's like delayed. Is that normal?
There you
No,
go.
that's not normal.
Because it was like I spoke, and then about 30 seconds later, you hear the words come in as actually what you're saying, not in real time. So I think
Okay.
I'm back to normal now. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
That's Nate. Hi,
Hello.
Nate.
I can
Nice
hear
to-
you, Nate.
Can everyone hear me? I hear Yvette really good. Kenny, you there?
What's going
Yes,
on?
Nate.
yes.
Okay. Yes. Yes, a variety of things. Musically,
Well, you can come on here,
songwriting,
man.
entertainment,
Turn
throwing
that off.
hosting parties,
Turn that off.
mostly in the community hosting the events. I do a lot of themed events, and basically trying to showcase artists that are trying to do music or coming from somewhere else that can't get into Vegas. Because Vegas is not the easiest place as far as trying to showcase or get your talent. So if you're here and say that I'm hosting an event, you're coming to town, it's themed for me because those are the way that I like to do them. So you have something different, not something that's the same all the time where people get bored. And I also it's all VIP. So instead of coming in an event, having something that you have to pay here, pay there, it's all in one ticket. And when you come in, it's a weekend of different things that I do when people come to town. So I started doing that because it was a bit boring. And then you're going to different places paying different amounts. So I just combined it, start hosting events on the weekend. If they're coming down and I knew about it, I guest list them at different clubs. We go out. Friday is meet and greet, that type of thing. And I've been doing that with family and then a lot of people that still come. And the showcasing the talent is a great part because you get to meet different people. And then some people that are really, really into it, then I'll work with that versus the person that doesn't understand music or even interested in it.
Press on that button, nigga.
So it is an honor actually to meet a lot of you because listening, as you know, here for Rick James,
How you work this?
icon. Been listening to him since I was diaper days, I would say, because my family would always play some Rick
What you
James. You know,
think?
Rick James. Are you there, Yvette? Because let's see, is she? Can I hear you? Is she back? So basically, does anyone have any questions or anything I can answer for you? Other than that, I'm here. If you had any general questions as far as that goes with the entertainment portion, what's going on in the community type of situation. And there's Nate.
Nate, are you guys?
He was there. I heard him a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
And let me see.
So Zelda just joined us again.
Hi, Zelda.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
And
Hey,
what happened to Michelle? That's who's missing in. Yeah, Michelle's gone.
Hey, Nate.
Hey.
And
Yeah, Michelle left.
Did Levi make it?
okay. I don't see
I'm
a
on the
Levi.
phone with Levi.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so we're unable to get him back in.
Oh, okay.
So, is there
Did
a
he
way
clear his?
talk?
Did he clear his browser? If he clear his browser, he might be able to do that.
Is there a way that Levi could do audio? I guess nobody can.
Can he like? I
Yvette.
can hear you. Yeah, I was wondering if he could dial in, maybe, and then you can link the line. Let me see. What
Yvette.
does it say on here?
You're on mute, Yvette.
Okay.
Can you plug his audio in if you're on the phone with him? Can you plug his audio in?
From my cell phone into the computer?
You think you can?
I can try. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. So.
And Levi, I see him scrambling. Yeah, he's trying to get or trying to connect.
He might be on an Android phone. Some Android phones cannot connect too well to this.
Okay, let me ask.
Mine is working great.
Oh, that's
I
good.
can hear. Yeah, I have the Samsung Note 25G. That one works pretty good, and all the notes work good for this. Yeah. So I'm glad that there's no connection issues like scrambling or anything. Everyone is pretty clear except for Levi.
Okay. So I don't think I can do that. I don't know which things to put on.
Well, the only way that I think you can do it is through the podcast, but it's too late to hook that up now, right?
You are in it. I see you.
And as far as the quality, you have the best connection and sound. Yours is clear, no movement, no scramble or anything, and your audio is good too. Like mine in the room, you sitting there and everything.
Who is that, Yvette? You talking about?
Yours? No, yours. You have yours
me.
is clear. Yep,
Oh,
it's the clearest. Like yours is almost like a video.
Oh.
For watching the video, yours is not moving or doing anything, and your audio is good too. And you see Nate over in the corner. Is Nate turned on? I don't know if his audio is on. They haven't said anything. Who is that?
Okay.
You're there.
Right here.
Okay. While I try to get Levi connected by doing a plan B, I think that we should go ahead and start this conversation. I mean, we have Nate, we have Lanise here, we have Kenny, we have Zelda, Melanie here, and I think that what we were going to talk about, we can go ahead and have that conversation because it's to celebrate his birthday, talk about his legacy, and talk about how do we implement some of those things that we have learned from Nate and Lanise, from everything that you've gone through within this music industry. What are those things that we're supposed to be sharing and passing on to make our next group stronger?
You got to get close.
So I just muted Kenny, but if he comes back, okay.
I didn't hear the question, and I'm sorry. I was thinking of something else.
So I think Nate and Lanise heard what I was saying, and it's the same thing that we were talking about yesterday, Kenny.
Oh yeah. A type of Rick James and the Stone City Band.
Yes.
Okay. So,
yes.
Right. So let's start off with the Hughes Brothers.
Right.
Yes. The
Okay.
Hughes Brothers. Welcome.
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. Well, we're celebrating his birthday. I mean, we're just very excited that you wanted us on the show.
Absolutely.
And right now, I mean, the band is carrying on. We're in the studio doing new material, and we're just trying to keep the legacy going. We learned a lot from being with Rick, all those years. So we're just continuing on.
And so the first thing when I think about is the legacy of Rick James. There's two sides of that, right? And where we
Right.
are in this space where we're trying to empower individuals, I want to hear about what were those things that you knew that he was, as he was trying to be within the business, he had to fight for. And what are those things that young people can learn from now? Melanie's in that business, what are those things, and how has it changed?
Well, right now it's so many areas now that an artist can really get his material out there. There's so many different platforms you can go to. You know, they're getting rid of like music companies. I mean, you can be your own company. You know, once you decide on what platform you want to deal with and get your own material out there.
Okay.
Melanie,
Well,
as an artist, do you see that happening within, the passing of the torch in a sense?
as far as the history of it, hands down, everyone is patterning Rick James. Your music, everything that you're about. If you listen to majority of the music today, you're always going to hear a piece of Rick or some legend like yourselves in the music or the sound. So passing the torch is great and very much appreciated by myself, because like the music, if you've listened to a lot of it, they've gotten away from music, and it's hard to tell one sound from the other. You got a lot of synthesized sounds, and then that voice thing that everybody tries to do that came from the trap music, that it's like, okay, so you can't
Yeah.
really tell who has a voice anymore. So for me, having grew up church, of course, harmony and sound and all of that was important, and that's what I enjoyed about Rick James, because if you knew he's getting on stage, you're going to see something dynamic, you're going to see fire and desire, you're going to wait for songs like that, and it's exciting to know that he was coming through to do something. So I got to watch it and even run videos back now. It's an honor, and then to even meet the people that are still around and that honored everything that he's doing, that's good too, because a lot of people don't respect you enough to carry on or even want to mention your name. So for
That's
me,
true.
I thank all of you for everything that you've done and everything that you continue to do. And Rick will always be a part of my history, because I'll even, everybody want to play the part of Rick, even if you have to get in and do the voice yourself. Everybody wants to do that part or wants that sound, but it was
Yeah.
something that was his own, as
Well,
well as whatever.
the only thing that's really different for me is like, okay, are the sounds that they're using. I mean, the music's still pumping,
Right.
but the sounds, a lot of the sounds change up, through the years. So it's just all about you being up on what's current.
Correct.
I mean, if you're a musician, it's going to sound good, but you have to deal with the sounds of the times.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Taking some of the old and adding a new flavor, but not
there you
taking
go.
away from the respect of what the artist was trying to relay with the music.
There you
I
go.
I can dig it all the time. I love it. That's what it's like. Even with music, I'll choose something that people can relate to, but I still will put the taste of this person, but I have to put my own flavor in it. So that I'm this artist doing it. I don't want to be this artist. I just appreciate the song, how they did it, and now I have a twist, and that's what I
Right.
do. I like the bend music, music bender.
Well,
So
the
I
band
love it.
used to live in the studio. I mean, Rick could be in the bed asleep, but the band will still be in the studio recording.
That's when that someone loves music, is you live and breathe it. Studio days back when I even sat in before doing or even being accepted for music from the gospel world, I would sit in and listen to all of the funk, all of the soul, all of the blues. And like, oh, can
Yeah.
I do it? Nope, you gotta sing gospel. Okay. And then there became the moonlighting. You got to hang out with a friend or a cousin that had the band, and that's when get the sound. The music is
Yeah.
not the same, but it's like I love live. I love the live band effect. That's why Rick James will always be popular, for that live effect and that energy. Just to know that you guys are gonna get on there and play. So it's exciting. And I hope a lot of people appreciate what you're doing tonight. Definitely taking the time out, sharing it with the world, so people would know who he was and that he was more than just that name. He had an image, but there was still a person behind everything. For me, I think every artist has that other side that you have to know them to know how they live and breathe music. And they
That's
don't
true.
understand. Yeah.
Very true.
Like
I mean, there was Rick James, and then there was James Johnson.
exactly.
You never knew who you were going to get that day.
But I think every musician or every person that has music has to have that gate. You have to have your separation. If not, and they combine and they're infused, that's going to be issues all over the stage. But as long as you can always know where you come from and have that one part of yourself, and I figure I can, always going to have to do stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I just want to interject for 1 second.
Yes,
Lanise and Nate,
yes.
when you all used to do sound check, right? Sometimes there was never a song that Rick James did that was in the sound check. Now is that
That was done on purpose.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to give away what you're gonna perform.
Smart.
Yeah. So whenever we did a sound check, it was always something we make up on stage at that particular moment. He'll just count it off and we will groove. And he'll catch a groove, throw some words on it, and that'll be our sound check. And maybe he might do a piece of a tune that we might play. He'll do that at the very end and leave the stage.
Wow.
And also Rick loved doing Bob Marley during sound checks.
Oh yeah, he was a big reggae fan.
Oh yeah.
Secrets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we happened to party with Jimmy Cliff and Peter Tosh when we did a show in Jamaica.
Wow.
So guys, what gives you longevity? There are some artists, some groups that come, leave, and we don't hear from them anymore. But you guys are still evolving. What do you think has been your secret?
It's in our family background.
Yeah, my father played different instruments, and there was always music around. And it always, it was kind of a relaxing situation whenever we heard music. So, I mean, we tried different instruments and just dealt with the ones that we were comfortable with. Because I went to percussion, because I was a drummer first. I went to percussion so I can play with my brother.
Oh.
And I wait. I just have to say this: they are on the one, and they're tight, and they've always been tight.
That's great.
but isn't that? I mean, I would love for you to elaborate a little bit about you being siblings and still being in this, and for all of these years. What are those secrets that we want to share with some of the up and coming people about loyalty? I mean, isn't that loyalty?
It's loyalty and knowing your worth. And that goes a long way.
And you got to be very disciplined. You have to want to play, and you feel it, and you have to be willing to gel with others, other band members, and it's just a perfect blend that you come up with, and you stick to it. And when you perform, you put out that energy to the audience. If the audience just sit there and look at you, then you're not doing your job. If they start dancing and they grooving with you, you'll feed off of them and you will perform better. It's always magical, especially when we perform. wherever we're at. We feed off the crowd, and they feed off of us.
Yeah, we had a local group with Levi and a few more singers, and Levi, he really helped us out, schooling us on how to stay in the pocket, you know, because we were rock musicians first. You know, that's all we played was rock. You know?
Okay.
But that's what drew Rick to us, because he was a rock musician. So he happened to start writing their R&B, but we played R&B so hard. That's what he loved.
And he called it funk and roll.
Yeah.
So how was it
Originality.
being, you know, these young artists? Now, where are you guys from?
Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York. And so how was it, you know, playing love and rock music? Did you find a lot of artists or a lot of kids in the neighborhood to perform with? And
oh yeah, it was a lot of our friends was into rock music.
Okay.
I used to be playing like Cream, Deep Purple, you name it. I mean,
Hendrix,
of course. Led Zeppelin, I love them. You know, Rush. The name goes on and on and on. Many names. Yeah.
What about
I still love rock music.
And so that was.
How did you feel about the Eagles? How did they feel about the Eagles music?
The Eagles?
Yeah, love the Eagles.
Nate.
Yeah. You can just about name any big rock group that, you know, I was in love with. I mean, you know, Three Dog Night, whatever, whoever.
But the first ones, of course, that caught our attention was the Beatles.
Wow.
And I just want to say, you got to remember, before that, Rick was in a group called the Minor Birds. Well, yeah, with Neil Young and those folks
out of Canada.
Yes.
Wow, impressive. That's a wide variety of music. Because it's like I don't know what genre did they try to put Rick James in. That's what I always wonder. Because it's like when I look at the charts and I search, it's kind of like they don't have a classification, because it's like his musicals so on point on different levels where everything is together, it works out. So you're searching for Rick James as an artist.
Melanie, you're breaking up.
Yes. What about now?
You are good.
Okay. And it said mic muted, then it unmuted. So yes,
Yeah,
for him, how would you classify him as the overall artist? Because like when I search for a lot of music, they really never classify him in a genre. So for you working with him, what would your best name of a genre that you could give him?
You can't, because he covers everything.
He covers everything.
That's what it was so hard to put in a category.
Rock, R&B, theater rock, you know.
And don't forget,
he covered.
Yeah,
he got into the classicals, because when he would do Mary Jane, he would add that whole symphony thing.
Yeah, the symphony and all. Yeah.
And you got to remember that he classified his sound as funk.
Yep. And it's like that's what I think about mostly, because a lot of times people tell you, well, what area do you classify yourself as? I said, I have one, but I'm not going to name it until I put it out. I'm going to have to copyright it, because I said I've tried to figure out a way. But I love artists like Rick, and knowing that he had all these levels, and people are like, well, you got to choose one. I'm like, well, I like rock and roll. I might want to do that today. Or I hear this blues song, I might want to do blues. So I can't tell you I'm this artist or that artist. I just play the music and I'll sing it if it moves me. And that's how I look at it. So that's why I like artists with variety. And he definitely was Mr. Variety. Every time I think about it or play a video, you wait and you got to move to something because I was bouncing to the video. I was like, they probably think I'm over here dancing at a party, but yeah, love Rick always. And it's like any moment you think about in history, and if you see you guys, and knowing that you're here and still around and could share the memory, and you probably could hear a song and know exactly what moment was happening and what was happening with Rick at that moment when you hear the song. And that's the kind of music or the type of history that you love to be a part of. That's why I say people, you could easily do any music, but if it doesn't have meaning, I don't see a purpose most of the time for myself. I don't like idle music, as you call it.
So,
like to have music
Nate,
Yes.
Right. So Nate and Lanise, speaking to that, how did you feel when you were, on stage and, you've realized that you're up there with Rick James? When was that moment?
I mean, it was high energy for one. I mean, when I was on stage, I mean, it just didn't seem real because of all the effects that Rick had going on. I mean, lights, bombs going off, everything. It was crazy. It was like an event.
Bombs? Wow.
It was crazy, fog, whatever. He had it all.
Who helped him put all of that together?
Levi Ruffin.
Wow.
He is trying his best to really get onto this call, right?
Did you have him to clear his browser? Possibly sometimes because when it does that, it's reading off of the old browser. When I used to be on for my online classes, I used to have to, if he cleared the browser and reset it and then try to log on with a new everything, and it might work for the login. Because if it's having that connection problem, it's going to keep doing that.
But it's okay, because if it doesn't, we'll just make sure that we have a plan B for this, because this was something that you guys have been working on part of for years, right? And just to have this minor technical difficulty, we tried to address it, but it happens. So we will definitely continue that conversation with him. But I just really want to make sure, Nate and Lanise, that you guys get your message. Let me see. Make sure that you all get your message out to the community and to up and coming artists about what you want to happen, what you are as a seasoned artist now, and how you would like that to be shared. Because you said something very interesting the other day, Nate, when we were talking about the young people and the music and how they were, their style. And you were like, you know what? I like their music. I like what they're doing. And I think that's what people need to hear, that their work is being liked by the OGs.
Oh, yes. I mean, I love what's going on. I mean, but the only thing I hate is like when I hear a song that you can't perform on stage. I mean, if you're a player, you want the song to be strong where you have a band to play that music. Some of these drum programs, I mean, you'll probably have a heart attack trying to play that stuff. It's not, I would say, humanoid. If you're a musician, basically through the years, just sounds change. If you have a certain style, play your style. The only thing you have to worry about is what sounds are going on at that time period.
But with the music industry right now, it's hard for some of the artists to be their own independent person, right? So what are some suggestions for that? And just know Melanie may interject. I just had to mute hers right now because I was hearing the feedback. But just let me know when you want to come back in, Melanie. Okay, go ahead, Nate, Lanise.
Could you repeat that again?
I was just saying, it's hard for artists to have their own styles now, because it's a lot of them are chasing the money, right?
Right.
So everybody needs to be like somebody that's making this. What kind of suggestions do you have for an artist to remain true to themselves?
You gotta have a big imagination. You gotta deal with what's happening today. You gotta remember yesterday. And you also gotta think what's coming in the future. It's a lot of ways you can go, but they gotta be really true to the music, be knowledgeable, write what is going on at that particular time, have an imagination to stretch out, at any given time, be willing to perform live and be able to increase your audience by whichever direction you choose to go. If you want to stay in a small, intimate area, put all your, put everything in at that particular moment. But we look at something larger than, it's arenas, festivals. That's what we're used to. We're not used to a little small club that you perform in. And I think you should just reach for the stars, look for the big picture. Don't look at how much money you're gonna get right away, how many women you're gonna get right away. That's not necessary. Think about your craft. How much what you're doing. And the electronic age that we're in, learn all the instruments, the machinery that's happening, all the samplers. Go at that the way you would learn how to play drums or play a guitar. Learn that instrument also.
Another suggestion is, you just have to have a story. If you got a story, most of the songs we did were experiences that happened to each of us. Or, because Rick wrote about his life basically in all his songs. Those were all stories of his, true stories growing up. So if you have a story, it seems like everything just comes automatic. The music, that's no problem. It's a story that really carries the song.
Mm. So we have picked up some feedback. We have a question from the audience. Michelle Johnson. She says, do you think technology changes the industry for the better?
That's up to the individual right there. Not for the better. If it sounds good, it's going to sound good to everybody. If it sounds bad, I'm sure you'll hear about it.
Now that brings up something though. When we talk about technology, does that make it easier for the artists to have all of this equipment in front of them versus, actually trying to learn how to play the guitar, trying to learn how to play the drums?
Well, it's always good to know how to play first. Like all this equipment, that's second nature when you're a player. Once you learn how to play, that technology just comes as secondary. It just comes to you just like that. Because it's just automatic in your brain. From being a player, period. You can just write all day.
Now, you know, a lot of our, back in the day, we used to have more classes or more art within the school. That's changed a lot. I mean, what could you say to those in power about why they should implement new programs within the school systems to teach kids music, to bring music back to the schools?
Well, music, I mean, I don't know why they try to get rid of music classes and whatnot, because, I mean, it's a way of teaching kids discipline, you know, how to listen, because kids are not listening nowadays at all. You know, they make their own decisions. So they need that discipline again. You know, once you get the discipline, I mean, you can accomplish anything. Yeah.
So you just touched on something. You know, it's different nowadays from, you know, maybe way our parents were able to interact with us and do that thing, that discipline, right?
Right.
But nowadays, is it difficult for parents to discipline their children based on what's going on with laws and different things like that? And in those cases, what are some suggestions to parents to help them get their kids interested in these different kind of activities, whether it's music or sports or a little bit of the two? How do we help each other?
I mean, you know, parents they have to, if your child is interested in music, the parent has to be interested into it too, so he can stay focused into it, you know? I mean, my parents, I mean, everybody was into music in my household. So, I mean, it was always around. And for you to learn anything, you have to have discipline, you know? I mean, right now, I mean, there's a lot of kids out there that they're not listening to anybody. They make their own decisions. You know, that's got to stop happening. You know, there's got to be a hold on that.
And
I know. Yeah, I know Melanie was. Go ahead, girl.
No, when you started talking about the kids, I mean, that's one reason I started doing psychology and child development, because kids are lost for me. And if you do not, for me, I said I deal with birth till the 19-year age, because between birth and 12, you lose this kid somewhere between the people in the society, the television, and then the parents that are absent because they have to work. And those became the major elements where children got lost. Music in school is like extinct now. But if they would have kept with the music, touching that base, the reason I was able to use music, that's how I taught my brothers the Bible, was music. I found the type of music that they related to, and then I did the Bible, like my father said, teach them the 66 books. So I taught my brothers by rap. One like rap, once I taught it to him in the rap form, he named 66 overnight. So I just found the style of music of however they were relating to it, and that was back in the 80s, just to get them to learn what I needed to learn. So I use music to teach my brothers, my nieces and nephews, and it does help. So if they put it in school, it helps with their mind, because music is relaxing. And a lot of people don't realize that helps a kid, because some of them, they're putting them on medication, not a good thing. A lot of them are extra hyper. Instead of a parent adjusting their diet, they go to take them to the doctor, and then you give them a pill, now he's off balance. And if you give it to them too early, it's going to ruin them. So it's all kinds of things. Music, I say, put it back in. Every kid needs it. And if you don't do it or figure out what your child relates to, you're gonna they're not gonna listen, like you said. They're not gonna pay attention because they're not relating to the child. So if you relate to them and figure out what to relate to, then you might have a better chance to get them to pay attention.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Nate.
Oh, I thought that Kenny was calling my name.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's on mute right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, one thing about music, I mean, music can put you in different moods. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can just pull a song out and say, "Oh, that's putting me in this kind of mood." Or if you want some high energy, you put on a song that just gets you going.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, guys, wait.
So,
We may have
I
Levi
see a
here.
Levi. I see a
Levi?
picture.
Levi.
Almost. I see his picture. And by the time he figure out how to turn the camera on, he might be in.
Well, he is much closer.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting for him to come in, maybe Kenny's the one that's helping him. But it's different. Oh, sorry about this. It's different it's different nowadays for some of the parents, right? So
yes.
Are there things that I'm just going to hit yours, Melanie? All right.
Okay.
Are there things that I mean, are there can you give us some examples of musical instruments that a parent can make at home? Maybe somebody doesn't have the financial means to help their kid get into like a music program or do these types of things. I wish there was a universal wide program that will allow kids to always be able to participate in a music program. But what are some of those things? Kenny, you could probably share. What are those kind of musical instruments that can be made at home?
Well, it was the garbage cans with us. Garbage cans, Quaker oak boxes, spoons,
cookie tins.
Yeah, a variety of different things.
Someone said pots and pans make the drums. Like rain sticks, that was something, right?
Rain sticks, yeah. Rain sticks are good. I mean, that'll put you in a different kind of mood. I mean, it sets up a song. Rain sticks. I love rain sticks.
Yep. I think those were a great thing, unless all of the rice fell out. Then you got in trouble, right? Because if you didn't steal that, all right, you would get in trouble. But those are the important things. Is like, how are we able to make it without having the money? Because the money ties us down, when a lot of these things can be free, just as we're just trying to just like make it, just the drumsticks, I think a lot of, I wish that we could really find ways to engage with kids so that they can be creative, because it is hard for them to be trying to do this music nowadays, and for it to appear that the OGs don't like what they're doing.
When I was 8 years old, it was a mentor of mine, Captain Hedges. I mean, he had his organization called the Cadets, Hedges Cadets. And it was like where Drumline is today. This was back when I was 8 years old. We used to march, play instruments, dance just like those the bands in the black colleges. We were doing that when I was 8 years old on the east side in Buffalo. We used to have parades. We had West Point uniforms, and we used to play instruments and do dance steps at the same time, And when they got rid of that program, I mean, kids were devastated, because it was somebody black that had that organization. That's why they got rid of it. But I kind of miss Captain Hedges. they ran him out of town, you know, because I guess he was just gathering up too many black folks in one area. You know, they get nervous about that.
So, unfortunately, tonight we don't have someone here from Boston so that we could even talk about that platform. I mean, Kenny may know some of the stories, but I do want us to have another conversation where we're talking about that racism that happened here in Boston. I'm not from Boston, but I tell you, I remember coming up the escalator with my kids. I have boy and girl twins, and we're coming up the escalator, and this little girl sticks her tongue out to my kids and says, haha, you don't have a daddy. And I was like, where did that come from? Right.
Yeah.
But it's like young people are having to fight this, and it's hard for them. What kind of suggestions can you advice can you give them? Because I think kids need that advice from the OGs. They get it from their parents, their grandparents, but people just don't believe that everyone's going through these struggles and that y'all went through these struggles. Kenny, I've heard stories from Clyde. Y'all were going through those struggles right here in Boston. So what kind of advice can you give these young kids to help them keep their heads up, keep moving forward? Education. You know, people are already talking about, you know, it back in the day, go to jail. That was one thing. But now, no, it's okay to be a nerd. Go to school.
There you go.
Yeah. I think you got to send them to the library to look at videos, look at the history, everything that went on, how we were instrumental in, you know, creating a lot of things that's going on today, like the light bulb and everything, the peanut, you know. The history books that they have today, they erased a lot of early Black history. They need to get those older books back again. I believe it was purposely done.
Oh yeah, it definitely was.
You know, because it told the way the perfect example, the Black Smithsonian Institute in DC. Have you been there?
No.
You should go there at least once. It's 4 levels to that place. I only made it to 2, and I spent all day long in there. It's telling you exactly what happened when they first came to America, when they was shackled, chained up in the ships.
Yep.
I never knew until like a year ago when I went to the Smithsonian. I never knew that the slaves that was on them ships, they gnawed their own hands off just to jump in the water and get eaten by the sharks. They did that because they knew what they were headed to. I never knew that. It's telling you, they go through the whole history. Whoever did that, they were really deep involved, deeply. I mean, it sends chills down your spine. You know, where everything you see in each exhibit does that to you. They show you a little shack that they was living in. 7 to 8 people in one room. That was the kitchen, the bedroom, the living room, everything in one room. And you got 7 people living in there. I mean, talk about being cramped. How are you going to physically be healthy enough to do all that work they were doing, you know, and going out there every day, picking cotton, bending over. I mean, that was from early in the morning till late at night. And then you go to a little small room and try to sleep on the floor. I mean, the kids today, they don't know anything about that. Everything is given to them. You know, it's a different world.
Yeah, I was born in Nashville, and my parents moved to Buffalo, New York. And I remember at the train station and seeing colored and white signs on water fountains and bathrooms. I remember that, you know. And you know, my parents were trying to explain everything to me and whatnot. I mean, but it's just all about, you know, being a strong person, period, you know. You have parents, listen to your parents. Your parents have been through it all, and you can learn a lot from them if you let them.
Yeah, it's nothing new. They've seen and heard it all. And I think they do have to watch what they're watching on TV. Because looking at, you know, all those gangster type pictures, you know, they think they can do that and make some quick money. They think it's easy like it is in the movie. You know, it's not like that. In the real world, it's not like that.
Now, I would like to interject and say, I finally got things together here, so I can speak now, and there'll be no feedback. But growing up and hanging out in both cities, Boston and Buffalo, I found that Buffalo, the people were more friendly, meaning they were more like a Southern mentality. And the people in Boston were so uptight with their nose in the air and thinking they're baloney such and such or whatever. But I found more racism in Boston. And I have to tell the story about when Stevie played the Boston Garden, his bandmates got jumped in Charlestown, and they stole their instruments and practically everything in the van. And this is when Stevie swore he would not come back to Boston to do a show. And following that, I think it was 4 or 5 months later, Stone City Band was playing at the Orpheum. And the first act that didn't want to show up because of racism and so on was Sister Sledge. And they didn't do the Orpheum, but they did Springfield. And that's what I just had to say about it. And so if Nate and Lanise wants to tell the rest of the story about this small scale riot and so on, they can go right ahead. I can't quite hear anybody, but what can I say?
Nate, go ahead and. Something happened when you all changed the phone. I hear something.
You got it?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. No, I was just saying that I couldn't even get a taxi in Boston. You know, I guess the braids scared them.
The braids?
Yeah, the braids I was wearing with Rick James. I guess they thought I was from a tribe or something. I must have scared them to death.
I mean, when you look at the what everybody was wearing then, they were so ahead of the times. And what do you think about the choice of words in some of the hip hop music nowadays? Does that bother you guys at all? Or do you think that, what do you feel about that? Because that just creates such a division between generations and individuals that are listening to the music. Yeah, just tell me.
Some of it is okay, but the one thing that sticks out to me that I totally dislike is how they talk about the women. They show no respect towards a woman. They talk about her body, what it looked like, what can she do for me. It's it's degrading how they do that.
For me, I think they use the N word too much. I mean, I've been in a lot of fights over that N word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't really like that too much. Yeah, I mean, people use it as a regular sentence nowadays. I mean, I just can't deal with it.
So guys, we definitely have to get this documented on tape where you are really talking about it, where it's not just me or it's not a female saying this is how we feel about it, but you please go into depth a little bit about the usage of the N word and how you all felt then, how you feel now, and the difference of how freely people use it.
Well, I mean, back in slavery times, I mean, that's what they used the most to degrade us. Okay, and they still try to use it, but I mean, people are using it like an everyday word now. It's like it's okay to say it. I can't say it, because I get mad every time I hear it. But I mean, maybe it's just me. I'm just, in a time warp or something, But it just doesn't sound correct to me, I don't know why they like to use it so much. They should look up the history on it.
It's society.
Yeah. And another subject. Who came up with the idea that it's cool to wear your pants at your thigh and tie a belt
Media.
around there?
Television.
Who mentioned
Television. Watching television.
Well, the thing, I mean, if you read up on that, I mean, that happened in prison. That doing that lets you know that you're available to whoever is interested in you.
That's it.
Okay. Now, if they know that history, I don't think they would do it, but who knows? Maybe that's the way they are. Who knows?
I think they know, but I just think that it sells. It sells. You know?
It sells?
Yeah, they're able to make record sales. I mean, right? So when they're able to include that, when they're able to include it, that means that a lot of people are going to buy that music. And also when they include those words within the music, it seems like it allows the audience to be able to use that word as well, right? Because they bought the music. You as the artist, you're saying it. So why can't I say it?
I guess it's up to the individual, but I think if they look into their history and understand where a lot of these words are coming from, I don't think they would do it. Because I really don't think they know.
You really don't think? I think there's a lot of people talking about that, about the use of that word.
For the word itself, all of you are correct. It's from how society has taken it with no history. So if you're not teaching your child and you're sitting in front of the television 100% of their day, they're picking up what they see. Their parents are at work. The
Right.
babysitter or the caretaker is somewhere on the telephone. And then you're coming in, and the kids are doing their own thing. So, but people continuously try to say what a person sees does not have anything to do with the behavior. And it's like, I'll keep going with the psychology until I put my own version out to say that that's impossible for you to think that what this child is watching on TV is not affecting them. Kids are sponges. From the time they're
Yeah.
born, they're looking at every single thing. How do you think they pick up things? How do you think they mimic? Kids can mimic anything. So if they
Yep.
can do that, they're going to mimic what they think makes sense. If you're shooting the gun, if you're calling this person nigga, has become the homie word or
Yeah.
the way to greet the person. So it's not history to them anymore. It's just a fashion, something that they're coming
Right.
up with. Oh, I heard him say it. So each person that's doing it, now we're like 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the line, and this kid over here, what's up, my nigga? And then you're looking at a person that had to go through something and it touches them. And it's like, do they even understand what you're saying right now? No, they don't. And if you look at their face, it tells you they're completely
Yeah.
blank.
Right.
They have no
Right.
idea what they're talking about. So it's like I was on the mute and I was in backstage, but I heard each area that you guys were touching. But when it got to that word and that history and that kid and thinking that this doesn't have anything to do with it, how about most parents today don't know who their children are? They have no idea who their children are. And then when they come up with even talent musically or anything to deal with arts and crafts, when did you start doing this? And the first thing you're thinking, where were you when your kid was growing up? What were you paying attention to? And now he has this crazy habit where he's acting like SpongeBob, or he's mimicking the chipmunks jumping off the wall, or he's over here hanging out listening
Yeah.
to whatever music's on television. But the saddest part for me, everybody think it's cute, but nothing is cute about a baby to me with too much going on. If a 2-year-old is doing Beyonce, that's not cute, because the moment that child does that out of pocket, by the time they get 5 years old, you're embarrassed. But you just allowed the baby to do it all the time while they were growing up, so they think, oh, this is normal. Mommy let me do this, or I got in front of everybody and you wanted them to do it, but now you wonder why every time it comes through, it goes, "What's up, nigga? Hey, man." But it's like, it's just the expression of it. It's like, if they think about it, you raise your child, nobody believes it. But if you watch a kid, they tell you who they are when they're little. And I have documented each and every one of my brother's children. He has 7 of them, and I watch all of their personalities, but they mimic something. So now he toned it down to educational things on the keypad, on the iPad, the parental controls, because the moment that parent turns their head, whatever you were watching, this kid is smart enough to zoom the internet, and now he has clicked and copied what you have, and now you wonder why you got this crazy bill with all this wacky stuff, because you left the computer open. You sat there and wasn't paying attention. Now he's mocking what you're doing. But they didn't never figure out. He was doing it while you was on the phone. You was in the kitchen. You didn't pay attention. So, gentlemen, you are correct. The N word is an ongoing thing, but now it's just a fashion. They don't even have any idea of what it really means. And I went through the same situation with the signs in the country. Growing up in Mississippi is a twisted world. And even in the 80s, going through Alabama was horrific. But the saddest thing for me was when I went through Tallulah, Louisiana. It was 1997. My brothers and I were riding home for Christmas to see my grandmother. These guys chased us down in a pickup truck. They call it a hunting light. And they chased us in the snow. I had to drive 85 miles an hour on black ice. And the car was literally like turn into roller skates, trying to guide it to get away from them chasing us to try to kill us for coming through their town. That blew my mind. So by the time I got away safely, I'm thinking nothing but protection, because they were out to hunt us down. And my brother's agitated because you're driving without protection. You're not expecting to go through Louisiana in 1997 and somebody hunting you down with a light. And then you can't even tell anybody because the town is this big. And we were just trying to get through there and find an easy route to get to the 55. But no, not in Mississippi and Louisiana. I won't go through there anymore. I kind of like went to flights only in certain places. And if it's too long to stop, I don't want to go. And if I go somewhere and they got a sign up saying, oh, this is for fashion. No. Somebody here has some deep rooted thoughts and I want nothing to do with it. Yeah. It's something else.
So when we think about the N word, when I was doing my radio show, I would try to ask the artists, why can't we use a different word? So let me ask you guys, what word can they replace the N word with when they're doing their songs? I mean, yes, they should be creative, right? But do we want just a suggestion from you guys? What do you think that word could be, or those words could be?
They could go back to saying my brother.
Yeah. That's very simple.
The first Last Poets album can tell you the whole thing.
They need to listen to those albums, Last Poets.
You know what may be really cool is to listen to those albums and then talk about it, because a lot of us can listen to it and not think about, what those lyrics mean. I was listening to an interview about Heat Wave, and they were interviewing the mother, and the mother knew about, Always and Forever was for his wife, right? He would sing it for his wife. And you guys were talking about Mary Jane and the other songs you create. So I don't think we take enough time to decipher the music to help them realize that, hey, what you guys were doing back then, they can do it here.
Oh, yeah.
And right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when they say mood music, I mean, music puts you in different moods. I mean, you can just pick out a song and say, oh, that's nice, boy. I know what I'm going to do today. Just by listening to a song. Some songs can make you cry. Some can make you laugh. But I love all types of music. I mean, I love jazz. My father's played jazz saxophone. And we heard a lot of jazz growing up, too. Well, it's all in our blood.
It's in our blood. But the thing is, it's not getting down to all of our kids, right? So
yeah, if they stop getting rid of programs, I mean, the kids will never have a chance.
And unfortunately, is that the goal? Is that the goal ultimately, to make sure our kids don't have those opportunities, so that way they can be systematically removed, placed in the prisons, just like maybe their parents, their uncles, etc.? I mean, so right. So if we know that if this is something they're doing intentionally, what are those things? How do we help the parents? How do we help the teachers that are in the schools trying to deal with this, trying to fight for the rights of our kids?
Well, I mean, we really don't have control over the schools and whatnot, but we do control having an organization for ourselves to incorporate music. We can do it ourselves. Bring the kids in and do it ourselves. Don't try to depend on nobody else. Yep. They're not interested in you anyway.
Nope. I like that. We just take it back into our hands. Yeah. and say, okay, we're going to create something where we are able to help the teachers, help the parents. to be part
Be
of
a
it.
true Democrat for the people, by the people. Because it's like if you give other people the realm over your child, how are you going to know your own child? Because this person is programming. It's a program. And I constantly tell people all the time, there's no way that you can't understand that if you have no direction set and rules for your kid, they have nothing to follow, who they're going to follow. And I always, sadly for me, the trafficking for the youth, young girls, they go to them. I said, why do you think they go to an 8-year-old? Because they're mind controlling them. You get them early enough, just like a kid. That kid, you give them what they want. You're giving them something. They thinking, oh, if I do this, I'm going to get this. Same thing with young females. Unfortunately, this is how they've taken over. The girls don't have a childhood. They have no idea who Barbie was back before Barbie. They don't even know who Baby Alive is. None of the cultural dolls. And it's like, if they see it, they think it's boring. You pull out a Monopoly game, they want to play it on the phone. You pull out some other Scrabble game, they want to do it on the phone. So electronic has taken over of the whole mindset. And like you said, Yvette, when it comes to the mindset of what they're doing, it's on purpose, because it's like the process of elimination. I tell everybody, I don't have time to play chess because it's going to take a long time to get to the maneuvers, the kings, the queens, and the pawns. So I told them, to me, life is chess. Everybody's trying to take your position. Then they're going to knock this person over, and then you always got this person over here conning and scheming, but he's trying to get to the spot of the king and the queen.
Right.
Monopoly.
Hey, it's the game. It's the game, right? That's
exactly.
That's the game.
And it was
that's
built by people that wanted competition, because the world was owned by nobody. It was land, and if it was yours, so if you let this person tell you that they own this and they own this and you got to do this, how did they get that position? How did they get smart?
How did it happen?
Outsmart you? Because you allowed them and you listened to them. Because and then it was like, well, where did you get it from?
Melanie, hold on. So Levi, can you hear us?
Just his face.
Can you hear? Man, I mean, that's that discipline, right? He's been going, we've been on air for like an hour and 12 minutes, and he's been, trying. And he did say that this was a new phone and a new computer, but definitely we will work to try this in advance to kind of get it set up. Is he in Vegas as well?
Yes.
Okay. So that's why
I really think it's as simple as him knowing that if he click on the cam icon, it turns the screen on and some audio stuff. Because it's like a button on here, if you like a tool thing to turn the mic on and off.
Yes. Well,
I think he's halfway there, but it's something he's missing, the click.
Yes. Oh. Okay. Okay. So are you guys getting ready to call Levi? Nate?
Yeah.
Lanise? Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay then. I mean, he's probably on his phone. So if you can't call him, you may also want to try to text him. Because he probably can hear us. So earlier we were talking about, the things that they're saying in the music and how they talk about women in the music industry. But this is what these young kids are doing is nothing new, right? Women have been talked about in the music for a long time. So how do we make the difference? How do we change it? What's going on? Oh,
he's talking to Levi.
Okay then. So how do we what kind of help? I mean, the Mary Jane girls were there, so they were able to get up and do things. But how do we help these other young women that are trying to get on stage with these other young brothers? I go to some of the concerts and there may be 15 young artists and maybe 2 females. Can you hear us?
Oh,
I can't hear you. The question you answered.
Wait, right.
He's talking to Levi.
So I know. And he asked Levi, could he hear us? Can he
yeah,
hear us?
He can hear it. Yeah.
you hear everything you've been saying for the past hour.
Okay.
Just couldn't see.
Can he?
Could he put Levi on speakerphone?
Can you put him on speakerphone?
Yeah, put him on speakerphone.
And so talk.
I got you on my speaker.
There you go.
Can you hear him, Levi?
I hear y'all.
Okay.
Tell him to go ahead.
It's an echo, but y'all going?
So everybody turn your mics off. I'm going to turn my mic off. Just
They want to hear you.
I hear y'all. Y'all can't hear me.
You got the sound on.
Well, I can hear him.
We can't hear nothing.
Somebody press up.
I can hear what y'all saying now.
Yeah, they did something.
Just the
okay.
echo.
Okay, here I am. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So Nate, leave your phone on. Lanise, move your phone closer to Nate's phone, and we can hear Levi.
I have a question. Who is Lanise?
Hello?
Okay, so am I pronouncing
They
it wrong?
didn't hear you.
It's Lanise.
Lanise. Okay.
That's the first name.
Okay.
So, how you doing?
We're doing good.
You're looking good. I can see you.
Okay. Well, since you haven't been able to share, we want you to share your thoughts on what we've been saying tonight.
Well, it's very easy. Basically, the band, we almost know each other's minds. You know, we've been to a lot of interviews, talked to a whole bunch of folks, and we keep saying the same thing because it's true. You know, it's hard to tell a lie and try to clean it up later on because you keep forgetting if you told the lie. Everything that Lance and they've been saying, that's the truth. Now, I can get into some deeper stuff, but I really don't want to do it now because I'm angry. And I already counted 115 as opposed to just 10. But, I mean, they've been adding a lot of stuff to the conversation. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys are doing this thing this long. I think it's fantastic. Do you hear me now?
Oh, yes. We're listening.
Okay.
So what kind of advice would you give young people?
I give them the same advice I used to give them when I worked at county. You know, I work with the bad children, I call them assholes. But the only problem that we have with raising kids now is the fact that, first of all, mom and dad want to be the kid's friend. And a lot of parents are really actually afraid of their children.
Right.
I mean, I've seen it up close and personal. Yeah. I've heard sons tell their mama, "We should get raped and die tomorrow, bitch." And mama's crying. My mama would have jumped up and kicked my ass open.
And some of us, we wouldn't have even thought about saying it, right? But there's something.
No way.
But there's something there.
Win.
There's something there that
Let me interject, please, if you don't mind. I ain't had much time to talk here. The circumstances that we really, that we face in the community is there's really no community anymore like it used to be. Neighbors knew neighbors. If you cross the street, the people across the street would tell on you. If you broke a window and you tried to run, the people would run down and tell your mama and your daddy would tell you behind up. We don't have community anymore. I bet you 9 out of the 10 families right now that you might be thinking about in your mind don't know the name of the people 2 houses down. They may say hi to each other, but they don't really sit down and communicate about things our parents used to communicate about. Baking nice cookies and beating that behind when they mess up. Period. Therein lies the rub. Like I said, I worked at juvie, and these kids, man, I mean, they will shoot you in a minute, though. But they can't fight, because they can't fight with a damn. I mean, they be dancing. I be looking at them laughing my behind off. Ain't nobody threw a punch now in 15 seconds. What's wrong with y'all? Then you tell them to get in a room and locking in their room for a while, so they understand what you just did was stupid. Parents are afraid to tell it. If my son came home with $300 in his pocket, I ain't gonna let that slide. Get some egg for tomorrow and some Captain Crunch and stuff for breakfast. Yeah, but I don't know where this Negro got this money from. And if he don't tell me, I'm gonna follow his behind. Dog dance. Can't be afraid of your children.
Right.
I don't know if that's in the Bible, but they say respect your mom and dad. But the real parents are actually afraid of their children. They call the mother the B word, the N word, get the F out of my face. I mean, and mama looks at it like, like this is pitiful. And then they come up, and when they get locked up, they come to see me, and they tell me, like, ain't nobody gonna put no hands on me. I said, I ain't anybody. My name is Mr. Levi now. Take them clothes off so I wash your nasty ass. You've been out in the streets for like 2 weeks. Your mama didn't know where you were. And they tell me things like, I ain't gonna do it. But we have ways to making them do it. It's like our parents had ways of telling them, get me a switch. If you come home with the twig, I'll go get me a tree. I'm gonna beat your ass today. I'm gonna tear your ass up. Like, I got 9 kids. They scared of me. They don't know what daddy gonna do. They don't know if daddy gonna tell the joke after she just say he gonna kill us, or is he serious? I keep them guessing. I think Nate made a comment about something. Keep them guessing. Especially when you're dealing with the white man. They all the way back. Now, you hear about them bombs they've been putting, bomb calls, been doing all the black colleges, universities.
Right.
So these shit that went back to the old days, man. And that means a lot of brothers already gunned up. I don't want to get gunned up. I hated being in the military shooting at people, killing whatever I had to do. But I could kill you. And these white boys get together right now. They're going to get rid of affirmative action. They're going to bomb these black colleges one day. I please hope they catch it. Whoever it is been making these phone calls to these schools, scaring these kids. I mean, come on, man. Just the pandemic and Trump on top of it, this country has fallen straight to hell. Period. Mm-hmm. Now about music. I know y'all mentioned some rock and roll, man. See, like I felt like Mahavishnu in there.
Oh yeah.
That was that funk jazz, that rock jazz crap. Chicory in there, okay?
Yeah.
That was the joint for me back in the day, boy. Cats, like she said, cats played. We played. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of second play now because I sure did. I used to sing, but playing is fun. Much more fun.
Oh yeah.
Hey, get here. Yeah, but I'm here, so I don't know what conversations y'all having now, but I've been listening. You guys been doing real good. Great questions from the staff. Great questions. Sometimes you have to pause because the question be so nice. How am I gonna do this? I hope I don't mess it up. Because it was, and plus I like to laugh. And that's another problem with the world. Folks don't laugh no more.
Everybody's angry all the time.
Everybody got face all swollen up, man. Nose all squinchy because they angry. Angry about what? You live in America, you can get anything you want to if you want to do it. See, I'm an OG. Nate and Lanise OGs. Sometimes, it takes to really explain to folks especially the white man, you know, he thinks he knows everything about us. We know more about the white man than the white man know about us. His music. I was lucky enough when me and Billy Nunn, who was in high school, Roger Brown, Calvin Moore, you know, called us for with the cause. It was the Four Dante's first. And we used to sit there, man, skip classes and go downstairs and play music because, like you said, there was no music programs.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be in the auditorium. I'm playing piano, tinkling on the piano. We singing harmony just as sweet. Then we got caught one day, got sent home.
Right.
It was a break, man. You know how you get 8 classes a day, and one of them you had a break. Like homeroom study. You had to, you know, do your homework and study all that kind of crap. Ask all good kind of questions about how much concrete to lay, or how high should the trees be before we start cutting off these electric lines. You know, all kinds of good stuff. But we took advantage of stuff with doing music. Now, Nate was out of school. They had a music program at that school you was at, man. Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw instruments. I said, man, it's like it used to be in the old days. Everybody had a music. And the thing about it was, man, like you said, parents couldn't afford all that crap. I was blessed enough. My mother thought about a piano. I didn't want it, though. I wanted me some drums. Not my house. She used to hear them. It's okay, you got a choice, Chucky, our nickname. Either you're going to play a violin or you're going to play a piano. I said, I'll be damned. Look, it's kind of hard to walk through the ghetto with a violin in your hands, okay? So
You chase home.
Chase home every night, okay? So I said, piano then, okay? What the heck? Like I said, we had community. We had teachers living down the street, man. Guys that became judges. Friends of mine, man, got their PhDs, their educational EDs, all that kind of crap. And it was right there in the hood.
Yeah.
Now people get money, they move out the hood. Come back and visit every now and then to see if everybody alive. You know, I mean, you got to be with the community. You should make all cops live in Buffalo. All of them, white and black. Be a neighbor. Like they used to do when I was growing up. Cops be walking the beat, man. They say hi. My mother, father would say hi to them. I said, this is beautiful. Police just as cool. Except for Kirkland.
Mm-hmm. I remember him.
He did not play, okay?
Mm-hmm. Don't forget
I'm good right now, y'all. Man, I was hot as hell. Listen to all these great questions. Hey, I don't know if y'all brought them down to ask us and everything, but you some really, really good questions. You know, far from the maddening crowd. You know, like, you know, straight up, you know, how did you learn how to do all this stuff? We learn from experiences, and when we put in a position due to our parents to be in better position than other folks.
Yes.
You know, we had houses we lived in, you know, neighbors, and the neighbors didn't mind Lannis and Nate and them have bands over there playing music all types of hours, and they'd be opening windows, listening to the groove. Okay, that's when we had neighborhoods.
Yeah.
He was, and they probably just as proud of Nate Lannis when he listened to y'all try to make music back in the day. I know him. I know that boy since he was 8. I used to sit and they got on it beating all that drums and singing. Boy, was they good, okay? They're proud of you. They're proud of us.
Oh, yeah.
I know they think we wouldn't go do nothing, but I think we did pretty well.
You're all right.
Well, yeah, all right. Zelda, do you agree? Can she hear me?
Yes, she can. Hold on.
I do agree. Yes.
Am I who?
She agreed with you.
I agree.
Oh, okay. Then she said something about me being a Christian.
You didn't hear that come out of my mouth.
You're the wrong one. Only time I ever see Jesus, man, when he's burying friends, man. Okay. Man. So many folks died from this COVID shit, man. I'm scared of death. I'm scared of that. Like I think I told Lannis that, Nate, Six of my grandkids had COVID. 6 of them. Scared me to death. But it was mild because they young. They 11 to like 3. And so I guess there's about their system as much. But they caught it from one of the teachers.
Right.
Yeah, the teacher would tell the kids, no, my daughter, I said, baby, you need to go to school and talk to this teacher. How come Kiki brought all this disease to the cribs, And they go see this woman, white woman, quite naturally. Explain to them that we watch the kids and sometimes it looks like they're uncomfortable in their masks. And I have a little plan for them. And what I do is I said, okay, everybody putting their masks off for a little while. It'd be 20 minutes. Nobody got no mask on. Neither does a teacher. Now, none of the kids caught it. So where did the kids get it from? The teacher with a nasty ass. I wish I've known, I got to repeat that. No, I'm not. I'm glad I ain't home right now. Because it's been filmed at 11. Pistol packet punks, okay?
Yeah. Famous words.
Channel 7.
Like they're trying to kill my grandbabies, man. Come on, man. I got 22 of them. Got 2 more on the way. Trey, he having another baby. I think, well, the real reason I'm going to live forever. I'm going to live forever, man. I got knucklehead, but they ain't my knuckleheads. I love the death of them. Yeah, you so stupid. See, I know. I go in there and clean that goddamn bathroom. Like your mama told you 2 hours ago, okay? I ain't the one. My grandkids, I ain't the one. I tell them, look, I ain't gonna tell them his granddaddy. I will beat your ass. Granddaddy, yeah. Would you really want me? I would tear your ass up. You do that again. Like, go and play somewhere. I'm not that granddaddy you see on television. You think that shit is cute, man. Kids cussing and whatnot when they're young. Man, that shit ain't cute. I mean, I tell them straight up. Y'all just gonna spoil them kids right. Shit. When I'm around, I'm to a different drummer, man. Like I said, I'm not your friend, little girl, little boy. I love the shit out of you. Sometimes I don't like you, but I do love you. And I will beat your ass.
Have them dancing.
Okay, you be dancing? You be James Browner. I mean, you do all kinds of Skype, masturbate, all that shit. This electric cord I'm gonna put on your ass.
So guys, we're saying this, but people will go to jail for that nowadays. They can't do that. So what are those suggestions to help discipline your kids where you're not beating them?
Well, see, but then again, therein lies the rub with me. I remember one time I was working, I was a VISA volunteer, Volunteers of Course for America. And my opportunity was to go into the ghetto. I'm talking about the projects and whatnot. And we was having lunch one day, and one of these girls said, boy, my daughter. I said, how old is your baby? She's 12. I said, yeah, what happened? She told me to kiss her ass. And I said, what did you do? She said, I gave her a timeout. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about, a timeout. Now that's what they do. They do timeouts. Go sit in the corner for an hour or something. Don't even be that long. Go sit in the corner. Now, if I know you ladies right here, you if you do or don't have children, you know how they are. If somebody told me that and they're a child and they want to, I'm gonna tear that ass up. You gonna tell your mama gonna tell you F you, bitch? That's her ass. Fold her ass up like a dollar bill and put it in your wallet.
Wow.
But the kids got it from somebody, right? See, just like Melanie was saying earlier.
God bless his soul. Call his mama bitch one day, and I heard it. All I had to think was, listen, that song, let's get it on. And he was doing, baby. Okay. I'm gonna call his mama bitch. I said, I want to call her a bitch, okay? And when I was tearing his ass up, I didn't say your mom, I said my woman.
Oh, okay, guys.
Another whole category. Don't you ever call my woman that.
So let's think about the music that these kids are listening to right now, right? That kind of normal. That I think that it may normalize it a little bit, because even people that are in other countries, they hear that, they think it's okay to come to America and call a woman a B because they heard it in the music.
Well, they say the same thing about gay folks. I mean, you know, it's just part of the world right now. We look, this country here. I mean, we went through that shit during the Vietnam War. I mean, they would tell the little Vietnamese women and shit, man, that they had tails. Niggas got tails and shit. And 8-foot penises and all that kind of stupid ass shit. Everywhere we've gone as soldiers, we spread that hatred. Now, when it's time to rumble, we all together. But off duty, you still a nigga to them. And I was an officer, I was a lieutenant, thinking that shit. Until I got mad one day and started whooping that ass. Because who I'm going to tell? The colonel, he's from Mississippi. Top, he's from Kentucky. My sergeant major, man, he's from Mississippi too. I'm from Buffalo. And I'm not used to people calling me nigga out loud in public. Talking about, fuck you, sir. I don't give a goddamn you as the general. Where I come from, you pick that shit up. I'm sitting there to myself, God damn, what can I do about this shit? Can I punch this motherfucker in his neck? Well, you can't do that. But I realized the one thing that hurts white men more than anything else, take money out of his ass. A thing called Article 15. I finally learned something I could use for these clowns keep calling me niggas. You take their money, I've taken money and a couple straps off some clowns. They be crying like bitches. Oh, I can't pay my bill. Well, shit, you know, you can't finish calling me what you did. Next, had them lined up, taking money out their pocket. They got real good all of a sudden. They love Mr. Levi now, Lieutenant Ruffin. We love him. Mm-hmm. But I had to get drastic on it behind. And I know what you're saying about spreading this crap all over the world. I think the worst thing I ever heard, man, it was a white boy trying to say it right.
Right.
They just messes it up. And it's a horrible word, especially when it comes from one of them. We have an opportunity to stop doing that crap. I remember Richard Pryor mentioned, you know, like you said, Lance, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Some niggas don't like that. Well, I ain't your brother. That's that ignorant coming out.
Right.
Yeah, but my brother, man, I've said it I don't know how many millions of times, and usually it's cool. Some get stupid about it. And what you do, you turn around and you walk away. Because like my mother said, you find my food, leave my food. With a stupid ass.
My mother would say it's hard to fight a fool. They don't know when to stop. So you guys, it's we've been here an hour and 30 minutes. We've been on the phone a total about 2 hours, and this does not have to end here. Okay. I produce a hip hop festival here in Somerville, Massachusetts. We've been doing it for 7 years. This is our 8th year. And what we're trying to do this year is trying to share the message from the OGs to do this intergenerational line to build productive learning environments for our kids. So when Levi is talking about he was in a position to take that money, that's what we need to help with the kids. Help them get to be in positions, running companies, learning those things, having people around them support them. So these conversations don't have to. It's what?
It's called mentoring. We need to mentor some of these kids. They don't have a daddy.
Yes.
They might have an uncle or two, but hell, they all been to jail.
Yes.
And I would always tell my hoodlum kids when I had an East Ferry, you know, at the lock them up. You know, I said, you guys should break the chain. Why don't you try to break the chain? Well, my uncle, he did this, and my daddy, and my other cousin, they all in jail. I said, why don't you stop it, man? Why don't you break the chain?
Yeah.
What that mean? Cut it out right now, man. Be yourself. Don't be like them. I don't care if you have to go to church, wherever you got to go. Talk to somebody that makes sense without telling you how to slang dope or how to cut it. Or be your friend. Like I said, my kids are grown now. I got a couple of little, but my baby's 31 now. He's always saying, I ain't your friend. I am not your friend. I'm your daddy.
Yes.
And I don't like being played with today. And the next time I hear your mother tell you to do something, and you take your time talking about, I'll get to it. Shit. Okay?
Oh. Okay, guys. So the last thing.
I'm gonna tell y'all one more time to do what she told y'all to do an hour ago. You ain't done it yet. Something like y'all busy.
Oh,
you
so
busy. I got you busy.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay, and then they learn something though. They learn how to wash their own clothes. You know, all my kids can cook except for Trevor. He burned water.
Okay, so before we wrap,
he burnt the water with it. I saw flame coming out the goddamn pot.
So before we close out tonight, and when I think about the song,
I have a daughter, man.
Levi. Levi, you're going to say something. Hold on.
So, because we're getting ready to close out, but we're going to come back. We're going to do another segment. But when we think of the song Mary Jane and what it means, and now cannabis is legal. Y'all got any comments on that?
It's legal, but it's not the same.
What is she talking about?
From back in the day.
Weed.
Marijuana.
What is marijuana?
Marijuana.
Mary Jane.
I mean,
yeah.
I ain't had a drink. I ain't had a drink 30 years. But I don't mind nobody else smoking. But I ain't never heard nobody high on drugs kill somebody. Now cocaine and all that other shit. Fentanyl. I mean, weed is a plant. That's why we call it weed. And deep in the ground it goes. Rasta man say. That's something to cheer you up. About that marijuana. And right now we're learning a lot about it because I'm in the VA hospital system, so I can't do that good marijuana, man. It takes the pain away from you. And now the doctors even admit now that it works better than all that oxycodone and hydrocodone, which I told them I ain't take it no more. I want to get pimped by a pill. It's not a song there. Pimped by a pill. I mean, like I used to tell Rich, man. But I can't help it, man. I swear to God, I tried. That nigga, you lying. See, but I didn't know he was sick, though, until much later on in life. I thought, he was sick. He actually tried to stop doing crap. He really tried. Like I said, I had him crying a couple of times. I called him weak. Nigga, you weak. Get your ass up, man. Let's go take a walk. You couldn't, I mean, he tried. But that's one thing a lot of people didn't know about him. Yeah, he was wilding, but he didn't want to wild no more. See, but like Richard Pryor said, that pipe, come here. Come on here. I got it for you, baby. Here's that good pipe full of that good stuff. You know, if people get it up, man, it's not a crime to me. It should be an illness that should be taken care of with supervision. That might stop a lot of this craziness. Let them know, man. Look, like I said, I know a lot of people that lost their homes, cars, boats doing that crack crap. Everything, lost everything. Had good jobs in television. I forgot that girl's name, man, but she came over to us and tried to borrow some cocaine. And we talking, how much money did you do on it? $300,000 last year. $300,000 on cocaine. Rick was doing what? He lying now talking about 10,000. That nigga was doing 20 grand a goddamn month. Easy. He had to fight the dope man one day because the dope man wouldn't give him no more.
Crazy.
Well, I'm glad you shared that piece about, that he wanted to stop,
Oh, he tried. He really tried. I swear to God. I should feel so sorry for him because I guess it must be he touched it and went back. But a lot of money on cocaine. Lots of it. We didn't get none of that shit. But we was loyal to him, though. We was loyal. He gave us all a chance, man, to do the big time. Nobody really thought we were going to do it, but we did it. It did it in spades. And this chance above him now still think we was just lucky. After 10 albums, Everything platinum and gold and shit. Oh, we looking up triple platinums. Come on. And we still get checks in the mail. I know I do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shit.
So that's definitely
come in when you don't expect.
Something that's something that Rick.
We're going up at night, baby.
Okay, so we're getting ready to wrap it up. I want Nate and
Lanise.
Yes.
To kind of, as we said in the conversation the other night, you know, there are things that you all want to say. We want to definitely give a shout out to Kim, right?
Yes.
Give it to Kim, who made this happen.
And our fellow band members.
You all go ahead. I'm not going to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll give a shout out to all our former band members and our current band members.
Yeah, the ones that made all the records.
Yes. They lost sleep in the studio. Couldn't go couldn't go home.
Couldn't go home. He's snowing outside.
Yep.
Can't man. You better get here to the studio. Okay, get here. Call the Eskimos up. Get a ride.
Yeah.
And
And,
the fellas, man, Tom and
yeah.
come on, man.
Shout out to all my relatives. Nashville, Memphis, North Carolina, Atlanta.
Atlanta people.
People everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we talk about the field glasses. They way up. I know we up here. Only was like it wasn't canceled, it was postponed. We're still gonna do the same thing about rehearsal and horn players gonna be all tight and all that kind of stuff, or is Eddie know anything about more than that? Because right now all I got is skeleton as far as like what we have to do. And it should be fun though.
Oh, yeah.
We'll make it fun.
Anything else? Are we out?
No,
no.
So I don't think we even need to play any music tonight. I think the conversation's been wonderful. I think definitely what I take away from here, Stone City Band, hello. Someone said hello, guys. But my takeaway is definitely that we have to find a way to help parents and teachers by creating a way to mentor. I mean, look, we've all been doing Zoom. We've been doing these kind of online platforms. How do we take this to a space where we can like bring some young kids in to bring them into just conversations at least, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, eventually we probably can hold clinics, like music clinics.
Yeah.
They don't have those enough, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think that would be a very good platform for them.
Right.
Yeah. Once they hear somebody play real good,
yeah,
they'll get interested if they really want to play.
Right. Because we could even have a platform like this where young kids just get to, hear this conversation and then see you create the music, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can have a platform like this and I may be playing a conga drum and just showing them different rhythms and have them play what I play,
Yes.
Just start off real basic, because I mean, your hands got to get conditioned first. I mean, I bled a lot, but then that goes away after, a period of time.
Calluses and all of that, huh?
Oh yeah. But like, I got caught in blizzard of 77 and I almost lost 3 fingers in that blizzard. That's why I moved to Vegas.
Okay. Hey, on that note, guys, it has been a pleasure to to speak with you guys and hear the lessons. Kenny, thank you once again. You'll have to share the story with them on how we met.
I couldn't put my mic on because of I was recording this and I had a speaker so it goes to the recorder. But and you can still hear echo. But all I can say is we got a lot to do, and I'm going to be Nate and whoever wants to else join in, and we're going to work hard to get Stone City back on the top. And as Rick would say,
yeah,
punk funk forever. And Zelda, it's great seeing you. and Levi has not changed. But I was waiting for him to say his favorite word.
Yeah, we got to get Levi
I was
hooked
waiting
up.
for Levi to say in a minute.
Yep. There you go.
But didn't say it.
I think it'd be great. Go ahead.
Your hip hop festival, I'm going to try to get these guys there.
Yes.
I'm going to try my best.
We're going to work with Kim on that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. And if we don't get them here, then I definitely think we need to have this conversation in Vegas.
Oh, wait.
In person.
Let's all go to Vegas? Nah. I just love Vegas.
Okay, it was a pleasure once again. And peace and love and happiness to everyone. And we'll be in contact. Zelda, I don't know if you want to say anything. You've been very, very quiet.
The guys have said it all. It was great. Thank you.
Z.
No, thank you, Zelda. Thank you. Thank you, Lennon.
Thank you.
Thank you. What is the name again? Yvette?
What? Right. We didn't even talk about your new song and tours, but we will get to it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So I can check out?
Huh?
So I can check out?
We can check out. Peace, love, and happiness.
Peace.
Okay.
Peace. Thank you, Nate.
All right. You take care.
Okay, you too.
All right. See you on the rebound.
Okay, peace. Cincinnati. In broadcast.